Hi, it's Ha here to review the Jean-Luc Ponty Jazz Trio at the Barbican. The trio consisted of Jean-Luc Ponty himself on the violin, bassist Kyle Eastwood, and guitarist Biréli Lagrène. Before attending the show, I must say I wasn't entirely convinced with his music after a bit of a search on YouTube. He's quite experimental and his long career has really shown this. In the 80s he had a lot of synthesizer sounds, which is characteristic of the time, and he even included vocal backings from African choralists. When I got to the show and before it had started, I spotted English violinist sitting behind me, and he had said to his companion that Jean-Luc Ponty is far too experimental, but that mediocre people think he's fantastic. With this little nugget of information kept to myself, I therefore had a lot of preconceptions going into the show. However, as soon as the music started, I was totally convinced otherwise. The acoustics of the Barbican Hall carried the music in a way that YouTube could not convey in any capacity. The music was warm, it was upbeat, but restrained from being too giddy or childish. One of the things that struck me most about the stage setup was that bassist Kyle Eastwood was placed in the middle. In most ensembles, bassists are usually left in the background. However, the musicians here all have an equal role, and the bass is not in any way a background presence. The stage setup is extremely minimal, with only the stage lights on the musicians themselves and some stools. When they first walked onto the stage, there was a real aura of humble legends coming in to greet their old friends. Even within the first two tracks, Blue Train and To and Fro, the trio managed to get the audience worked up to a wave of polite head bobbing in the crowd. There were more mellow moments during the set, such as Kyle Eastwood's composition, a ballad called Too Young to Go Steady. His career has seen him score films for his father, Clint Eastwood, so there's a real cinematic feel to this track, which is typical of a breakup montage in the Hollywood rom-coms. But that's not to say that it's derivative in any way. However, the trio doesn't let the audience rest for long, as the music picks up the pace immediately afterwards. Although the musicians are on stage playing and do not converse with the audience, there's still a great sense of humor in the interactions between these musicians, and when Jean-Luc Ponty sneaks in a segment of the Pink Panther theme. Since the musicians were all masters of their instrument, there were a fair amount of solos put in to show off their incredible talent. Biréli Lagrène play guitar riffs faster than the eye could see, Jean-Luc Ponty plays the violin like it's an extension of his own arm, and bassist Kyle Eastwood, well, he doesn't even open his eyes when he's playing. I mean, how do you do that? After the intermission, the music reflected his more experimental nature. The rich, warm tones of the first half of the set has become darker and almost enshrouded in mystery. The more traditional tempo is gone in this half, and in its place is more unpredictable phases of the music. The music itself is less harmonious, but there's still a great sense of coherence within the distinct parts of the composition. By the time the trio return to the stage for an encore, it almost seems like a farewell party, and the music reflects a true celebration of friendship. And testament to this fact is that the trio received a standing ovation, which continued long after they'd left the stage. Because jazz is one of my favorite music genres, I can't wait to see what Jean-Luc Ponty does next in terms of pushing its boundaries.